In the vast world of the Witcher lie many dangers awaiting an opportune moment to strike. Dangers ranging from simple ghouls and wolves, through more dangerous beings like wyverns and golems, to powerful creatures, such as griffins and... Sycamore?
Huh?
Oh, there's also entirely unimportant and insignificant, barely even worth mentioning, trivial matter of an irrelevant thing known as the Wild Hunt. You know, the thing literally in the title of the game? Nah, who cares about that? Now, let's get to the important stuff. Oh no, not that. Ah, Lambert. Our good old friend Lambert. One day, the White Wolf Geralt of Rivia had a dream. A dream about his adopted daughter Ciri, who was ambushed by the Wild Hunt. Lambert was there! Geralt awoke suddenly, frightened. He needed to find Lambert as fast as possible, no matter the cost. But where could he be? Oh, Uncle Vesemir will certainly know. He, in fact, did not know, so Geralt told him about Ciri.
Ghouls.
After easily dealing with them, we mounted our horses and... a griffin! Oh, that was close. You'll manage. Bram told us about his cousin's inn, so we soon paid her a visit.
Food and drink on the house.
But didn't pay a penny. We had some free time, so naturally, I bothered some innocent folk, played cards with a geocentric Gwent lover, and exchanged a few words with the man of glass.
Schnapsies.
Lovely guy. I'd love to meet him again in like a DLC or something. He told me that Yennefer was in the local Nilfgaardian garrison. Unfortunately, he has not seen Lambert. On my way there, I had to visit some French patriots, had an intimate moment with a rook, found an arsonist who lost to a drowner, yikes, and rescued a lovely pan for a lovely lady. Soon I arrived at the garrison. Strangely enough, every one of them was white. I met their commander, and he told me that if I were to deal with the griffin, he'd tell me all he knows about Yennefer. So I agreed, and, after devising a plan, went to a local herbalist, Tomira. Before I arrived at her doorstep, I met a suspicious man. He tried to deceive me, tried to hide that he was a French insurgent, so, of course, I confronted him, sent him into the abyss, brought him back, and arranged a meeting with an Nilfgaardian soldier for him. Oh, and also that? Then I went to meet Tomira. She told me where to find some herbs for bait. There was a girl in her home, soon to perish from her wounds. So, naturally, after mustering all the medical knowledge I obtained throughout the years, I gave her a potion made from alcohol and a brain. Guess it must have been hard to swallow.
Oh my god, bro.
Then I found a gay man in the forest, so I followed him deeper into the woods, no questions asked. He led me to a place where some Nilfgaardians got ambushed by the griffin. I soon found its lair, and learned that the humans have killed one of the griffins, sending the second one into a rage. After that, I was ready to face the griffin, so I met with Vesemir, raced him to a field, and learned what Uncle Vesemir likes to do in his free time.
You're a gambler yourself.
We finally fought the griffin together, tooth and nail, silver swords in hand. Finally, the beast has been defeated. I took the trophy and went back to the Nilfgaardians, encountering a
Place of power.
and some loot on the way. In the camp, the commander angered me a little, but then offered me money, so everything was good. I returned to the inn and had to deal with some Frenchmen that got angry because... they're French? Like, why die for the Silver Lilies? Why die for Vizima? Then we were stopped by the Black Ones. None of them black again, hello? Oh, Yennefer. We mounted our horses and rode towards Vizima, encountering the greatest Russian ally, Winter. Naturally, we lost most of our guys. In the Temerian capital, I took a quick bath in preparation for meeting Emir.
The gentleman will refer to His Imperial Majesty by his full title or not at all.
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant Amhervar Emrace, the white flame dancing on the barrows of his enemies. Emperor of Nilfgaard, Lord of Metina, Ebbing. After answering some questions, learning how to bow and then ignoring it completely, I learned that Ciri was being pursued by the Wild Hunt. So I talked to Yen, who told me to visit Ohio. I mean Velen. Before that though, I had to look at a map for a moment. Okay, now I was ready to enter Velen. Immediately found an unfinished book. I wonder whose that was. And then I encountered a French guy who deserted his army. So, naturally, I did the same to him.
What? Hey, what the?
Then I arrived at an inn, had a lovely conversation with the locals,
Only got one prick though.
and determined where to find Hendrik, a Nilfgaardian agent. Unfortunately, his village was recently visited by Grandfather Frost and his crew, so Hendrik was permanently unavailable. Despite his indisposition, I was able to discover two new leads, a baron residing at Krau's Perch and a local witch near Midcopse. Also, Hendrik thought he was being observed, it seems? Like, brother, this is just paranoia. I moved out at once, had a lovely interaction with some bandits,
You'll regret your mum ever squirted you out.
and then, by complete accident, I arrived precisely at the witch's doorstep. Kira Metz. She told me about a certain elven mage who might know something about Ciri. Now, if Dungeons and Dragons taught me one thing, it's gotta be hatred for elves. So after taking what's rightfully mine, I paid this elf a visit. We entered the cave and had an interesting discussion.
Well.
During our little expedition, we met some Russians. Kira got ambushed by the Skaven. We fought our inner demons, a golem, and then a gargoyle. Very tough battle, as you can see. Next, we caught up to the Russian with the stick, but he ran away like a coward. We closed some portals from Siberia and entered the next room, where a new enemy awaited us. So we killed him, thus clearing the way to the elf's laboratory. There, we figured out that 3 nearby witches, also known as the Crones, stumbled upon Ciri when she was there. Kira also wanted to retrieve some magical lamp, so I helped her with that, and fought, again, a golem, for some sweet loot. Kira teleported away, so I followed her home. She sent me to Fyke Isle, since it seemed to be haunted. I set sail towards that island, Kira's jokes brightening the mood.
You'll have to trust my feminine intuition.
Your what?
My feminine intuition!
Wonderful.
I found a tower and some ghosts, one of them being Annabelle. She tried to trick me, but I ruined her plans, and she turned into your mother.
Man, I'm dead.
You cannot kill me.
I defeated her and sailed back for her lover, who could defeat the curse with his love. It worked, but he had to kiss your mother on the lips. Oh well, at least it got rid of the curse, and I could now leave this godforsaken island. I returned to Kira, and she asked me for one more favor: to retrieve her ingredients from a transport. Ingredients which turned out to be expensive wines and food. Went back to Kira's a little confused, but then she invited me for dinner, and since I was in a hurry, I accepted. We raced through romantic swamps, ate dinner, and had some fun. But then Kira went to buy some milk, so I sailed to Fyke Isle again and found her there. She got some notes on the Catriona plague and went to take them to Radovid, the Redanian king. I knew how that would end, so I sent her to Kermorin. It's not like she's gonna take my Lambert away or anything. I headed towards the Bloody Baron's castle, where I realized that this is just Vichy France.
Had a choice after the Black Ones thrashed us. Let it lie and try to lead normal lives, or continue to resist, join the guerrillas and fight for our beloved Temeria till death do us part. We chose the former.
1, 2, 3.
Met the Baron and saw a major design flaw in Nilfgaardian armor. We did what Polish people like to do the most, and I had a vision. Of Ciri, unfortunately. During that vision, we fought wolves, fought some more wolves, found a guy who didn't buy a license for WinRAR, then we fought wolves again, and at the end, at long last, we fought a bigger wolf. I wanted to know more, but Philip Schwenger told me that I have to find his wife Anna and daughter Tamara first. I searched the rooms but didn't really find anything apart from an amulet, which was probably from a local peddler, so I paid him a visit. I met some men in front of his hut who just wanted to talk. I wasn't delusional enough to send them off immediately, so I had to convince them to leave. Now I could enter the peddler's hut. He didn't want to tell me nothing until I found his goat. So I did, and finished one of the missions of all time.
Come on. Do I really have to keep ringing this bell?
The peddler performed a surprisingly quick ritual, which disclosed that Anna miscarried and her unborn child became a botchling. If you don't know what that is, well...
Botchlings suck the blood of pregnant women and eat their fetuses.
lovely beings. I could either try to lift its curse, or kill it. I rode back to Crow's Perch, and saw that a lot of it was on fire.
What the?
I freed some horses, wasn't even close, had a friendly chat with the Baron, gave him a quick bath, and then he told me his life story. Philip led me to the place where he buried his unborn daughter, and here it was, the botchling. Taking into account the Baron's wish,
Do not kill my child.
and the fact that Geralt is a responsible parent himself, I killed it.
Huh?
Took the blood to the pillar and went outside to perform a ritual, which kinda reminded me of the Sabrina ritual in The Witcher 2. The pillar instructed me to seek out a local fisherman named Wojtek. He informed me that Tamara, the Baron's daughter, is in Oxenford, and her mother was kidnapped by a huge beast. I immediately told that to the Baron, and he was a little disappointed. He wanted me to confirm his daughter is safe, so I had to go to Oxenford. Before that though, he gave me another vision of Ciri. I won a horse race against the Baron, he called Ciri Wind,
You're wind, not woman.
which I guess is the equivalent of calling someone an attack helicopter today,
What?
and then they got attacked by a basilisk. Thank you for another cliffhanger, Philip. I traveled to Oxenford, found Tamara and her new, polite and wholesome friend. With that out the way, now I had to do something I was afraid of the entire time. I mustered all my courage, found my inner strength, and read a book about the crowns. It mentioned Crookback Bog. On my way there, I encountered a guy who challenged me to a duel, so I burned him alive.
I yield.
And some bandits, so I burned them alive too.
God. Come on.
After finally arriving near Crookback Bog, I found a wooden sculpture of the 1 out of 10 dentists that don't recommend your toothpaste. Following the trail of trees, I encountered an orphanage, so I did what any sane YouTuber would do. I spoke to them politely and played hide and seek with them, of course. What did you think I was gonna say? The kids told me about Johnny, who might have seen Ciri. I know a certain Johnny who is talented in many different fields, but I didn't know he was in Velen. It's a small world we live in. I defeated some drowners, and soon enough, Johnny. Hello, Johnny. Oh, you know, I remembered him somewhat differently. Anyways,
Lost your
his
voice.
voice was stolen in Poland, so we went to retrieve it. When we did, he told me to talk to the crones, and helped me with that by convincing Grandma. I talked to painted women, like a lot of guys do today, and they told me to get rid of some evil being hiding under a hill. They also gave me a dagger, which I'd use to collect the payment. I traveled to Dawnwarn, did some small talk with an introvert,
Nice village.
Aye,
A real pearl of the swamps.
if you say so.
and learned some details about the dangerous hill. Went to investigate the area myself, fought a werewolf, and entered a cave, where I found a totally not evil being. So, naturally, I agreed to help it get free. But, when I was busy with getting the required things for the ritual, I saw corpses of women and children near the hill. I couldn't let that stand, so I betrayed the being and destroyed it for good.
No.
I collected the payment for the crowns
What the hell was that?
and went back to Crookback Bog. There, I realized the grandma was actually Anna, and the crowns took the kids to eat them, I guess? I didn't try to free her since it would be too risky. I just talked with the crowns until they revealed what happened to Ciri there. I had a vision. They tried to kill Ciri and gave the rest to the Wild Hunt or whatever. Then I had to escape the Siberian invasion as Ciri. That sequence just existed. That's about it. I returned to the Baron and got another vision, where Ciri fights the Basilisk and defeats it by using her power, saving the life of Philip in the process. This meant that the Wild Hunt could now easily find her, so she had to go. She went to Novigrad. I was ready to go on my merry way, but Philip asked me if I wanted to join his expedition to free his wife. Reluctantly, I agreed. We pushed through the treacherous swamps, killing many drowners in the process. When we arrived, Tamara and Redanian witch hunters were already there. We did some chit-chatting, found Anna, and got ambushed by even more drowners. We fought them off, but then a fiend returned with milk and attacked us. After a tough battle, we were victorious. Me after cardio. Due to all those events, Anna has lost her mind, so Philip took his wife and went to find a hermit who might be able to help her. Before going to Novigrad, I decided to complete one more quest. You know, for no specific reason at all. I talked to a woman whose house was overrun by monsters. Arrived there, found some traps, and avoided all of them like a professional.
A tripwire.
And found
Letho.
an old friend. Together, we dispatched some mercenaries and paid their camp a visit. We showed them the way to the afterlife. Letho had a Sigma moment.
Gotta understand, Lewis. You don't betray men like me.
We learned where their employer was, before I carefully examined the camp for any survivors. We arrived in Lindenvale, where Leto told me not to intervene, no matter what. So I left him to die. Fortunately, it was all a part of his master plan. And a quite ballsy plan at that. So ballsy, in fact, that I sent him to Kermoren. Then, it was time for Novigrad, the city of... barbecue. In front of the city's walls, I encountered the same guy who challenged me to a duel earlier. It seemed like he enjoyed being burnt alive, so I put the term steal for humans into practice. I entered the city, watched a barbecue in the main square, met some thugs who told me where I'd find a certain sorceress, in a place known as the Putrid Grove. Then, the city's chef approached us and asked me if I liked the barbecue. We had a lovely conversation together before I left.
Novigrad's no place for your kind.
After asking a few beggars, I found out where the Putrid Grove is, and even learned the password, and entered it without any problems. I met Triss, and we went hunting the Skaven together. What's up with sorceresses and Skaven? A merchant tried to betray us, but only sent 3 inexperienced cooks against us, so they were no match. Before Triss and I parted ways, she told me about someone that could help me locate Lambert. Oh, and Ciri too. An oneiromancer, Corinne Tilly. I sought her out immediately, but she was asleep and wanted 5 more minutes before school. So to pass the time, I found a child in an oven and lit it on fire. After that sweet intermission, Corinne was ready, so I went to sleep. In my dream, I saw Dandelion with Ciri and they... Lambert! Now I knew where to find him, so I stormed off and went after an Ekimara. And there he is, Lambert. Finally, at long last. We killed the vampire, and I wanted to celebrate, but Lambert wanted to finish one last thing before chilling together. Find the people who killed his friend and bring them to justice. So I decided to help him. We returned to Lambert's employer and prematurely ended his existence. Then we found an elven woman and dealt with her friends, for good. Next, Lambert wanted me to go to Skellige, while he headed for Tretogor. Since Skellige consists of a bunch of islands, I had to get a ship. On my way to Novigrad's port, I visited Dandelion's estate. Found an old friend there, Zoltan. We got rid of some thoughts, and Zoltan informed me that Dandelion is missing. We had to find him, but for that I had to read a book, so I ran away. I sold some stuff to obtain 1,000 crowns, paid for the voyage, and... I love Skellige. I survived, and got a little wealthier. I traveled to Faroe Island in search of the guy, cleared a whole village in the lake, and then found him, and dispatched of him too. I returned to Novigrad and met Lambert. Together we went after the last guy, who turned out to be a witcher with a wife and children. Lambert really wanted to end him, and, since witchers are void of emotions due to mutations, I let him live. Okay, Lambert. Now that this is done, we can finally... Lambert? No!